There are two ways to estimate sums and differences. The first method involves rounding. And when you're going to use rounding, it's important to know that you need to choose the place value position that you want to round each number to. And when you choose your position, you have to round both numbers to that same place value position. So when I look at this first number, 5 and 8/10, what I notice is if I'm going to round this, I pretty much have to round it to the nearest whole number. And if I'm going to round that first decimal to the nearest whole number, then this decimal has to be rounded to the nearest whole number also. Now when it comes to doing the actual rounding, that's the same as what we've always done. We use our guide number, which tells me since this is higher than 5, that I'm going to round this number up, and it's going to give me a whole number of 6. When I look at my second decimal, the 2 is my guide number. And since this number is less than 5, that means my 3 stays the same. So when I do my estimation here, what I have is the sum of 6 plus 3, which gives me an estimate of 9. Okay? Looking at these second set of numbers, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to start by figuring out what place value do I want to round these two numbers to. And I want to keep it as accurate as possible. So instead of changing these and rounding these to whole numbers, I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. So those are my tenths, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my guide number and see how it changes. So 6 and 8/100, this 8 is going to give me 6 and 1/10. My second number, when I look at my guide number, this 5 is going to change this 1 on the end to be a 2. So I have 32 and 2/10. And again, this is an addition problem, so I'm going to add these two things together. And when I do that, when I add these two numbers together, what I'm going to get is 38 and 3/10. Okay, and again, that's my estimate. That's not my exact answer, it's my estimate. Now the second method that we can use to help us estimate sums and differences is called clustering. Clustering only works in a very specific situation, when the numbers are all around one of the numbers. Okay, so if you look at this, we can see that all of these numbers, 4.2, 4.13, 3.99, 4.007, which is not the correct way to say them, but all of these numbers are very close to 4. They're all clustered around the number 4. So what I'm going to do in clustering is I'm going to take each of these numbers, 4 and 2/10, 4 and 13/100, and I'm going to say all of these numbers are about 4. 3 and 99/100, and 4 and 7,000. All of these numbers are about 4. So what you do when you use clustering is you cluster all these numbers around 4, and then you use adding to figure out what your sum would be. And in this case, my estimate is going to be about 16. So there are two methods. It doesn't matter which one you use. Clustering only works in one very specific situation, and when you're using rounding, you have to make sure you decide which place value position you want to round to, and that you round all of your numbers to the same place value position.